Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's David from Very Traumatic Gaming, and I'd like to thank you for dropping in. The gameplay in the background is Crysis 3 played on GTX 780s in 2-way SLI. I am playing at 1080p with all settings maxed out and 2x MSAA. I get a few really nice frees, and on the Caverns map I get a max nanosuit bonus. I have a fraps overlay in the corner so you can see just how many frames I'm getting. It definitely depends on the map. On some maps 120 frames is easy, on some maps 90 is a luxury. I apologize if you see any ghosting later on. It's my fault because I forgot to turn off the switch eye setting once I turned off the 3D. The last statement happens to transition well into my next topic. I'd like to talk about how 3D gaming and 3D surround perform on the GTX 780 SLI. Crysis 3 is very pertinent to this commentary because it's graphically intensive and it's one of my favorite games to play in 3D. First, let's take a look at the unboxing of the glasses that you need. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Nvidia 3D Vision 2 wireless glasses kit that I got to use with my GTX 780s. Now, one of the main reasons why 3D gaming isn't more mainstream currently is that first of all, you need this glasses kit, which clocks in at over $100 US. You need a 3D Vision compatible monitor, and those are quite costly. And you also need enough graphical power to be able to play 3D games at respectable frames per second. But now that the Oculus Rift has emerged, there is a greater interest in 3D gaming. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of games that are certified NVIDIA 3D Vision ready, meaning that, you just plug and play, no questions asked, and it'll work without any hassle. Some other games you have to download patches and fixes for, and so there is a little bit of a headache in getting other games outside of the 3D Vision ready games to work. But I hope to be able to play those 3D Vision ready games and see how these glasses hold up. So I'm going to open the package now. Alright. Okay, so this is the infrared emitter. This is a switch that allows you to adjust the depth. This is a 3D sync in, whatever that means. I'll probably read my manual, and a refresh button or a power button, it looks like. So this is a carrying case. So this looks like a charger. Okay, no, this is to sync with your computer. This is a 3-pin connector if you have a graphics card that has this kind of output. This is more relevant to Quadro users. And this looks like the USB and mini USB charger. Oh, here's another one. And, oh, we have a variety of nose pieces. And these are the glasses themselves. Okay, you have interchangeable nose pieces. So you can change out the original nose piece with any of the given nose pieces. So this is where you plug in the charger, and this should be a synchronize or refresh button. Now I'm going to set this up. Now I'll discuss 3D gaming as a whole. I've been playing games since I was 5. On the one hand, 3D gaming is the best new gaming experience I've had. Better than getting my first Game Boy with Pokemon, better than the first time I played online multiplayer. But on the other hand, at the same time, it's the most frustrating thing in gaming I've ever experienced. I'll explain the positives first. Playing in 3D adds to the realism and immersion. Humans have 2 eyes for a reason. One eye actually sees the object you're looking at, but the other eye gives you a slightly alternate view of the object so you can see how far away you are from it. You're going to be able to better detect depth and how far away something is when you play in 3D. You have a better sense of the scale of the world, and you're better able to feel proximity to teammates, and I use feel in quotation marks. You're better able to feel your proximity to teammates and objects in the environment. Your actions are a lot more deliberate because you're not so much looking at a screen, you're actually there doing what your character is, especially when you are playing on 3 screens, aka 3D surround. I can only imagine how the Oculus Rift would take this to the next level with bezel-less play. General aim is easier because you have 3 axes for feedback versus just 2 previously. For those with real-world firearms experience, aiming your gun and aiming down sights and scopes feels like how you would do so in the real world. You have different levels of focus based on the front sight, hind sight, and your target. Aiming feels like when you keep both eyes open to shoot in real life, which you should do for the most part. When you play in 2D, it's like when you're squinting one eye, which helps you align your front sight, but you lose peripheral vision and situational awareness. Personally, I shoot left-handed because I'm cross-dominant, meaning that I'm right-handed, but my left eye is the dominant eye, my right eye is my depth perception eye, so I strive for the best vision I can get instead of using shooting glasses to add a translucent overlay to my left eye. But with all of this talk of realistic shooting mechanics, this leads me into the negatives of 3D gaming. I'm going to cut the screenshots of Battlefield 3 to show you specifically what I'm talking about. Imagine everything in the game being a vertical surface or plane moving away from you. Your minimap and your ammo counter are plane 0, meaning that it's the closest plane to you and it requires the shortest level of focus from your eyes. The next relevant plane in this combat situation is the same plane that your red dot sight is on. This is a much deeper plane than your minimap and your ammo counter, so we'll call this plane 1 just for reference. Your enemy lies on plane Z, which is a variable amount depending on how far away he is. In real-world shooting, you're supposed to keep your focus on your target while letting other aspects of your sight go out of focus slightly. But while gaming, this is a major disadvantage because you're not going to have that precise snap judgment that you have when you're playing in 2D and you have your target perfectly aligned with your red dot sight. When you're playing in 3D, your red dot sight is out of focus if you want to maintain your view on the target, or you could keep your focus on the red dot sight, but then your target won't be as clear. This is a huge compromise to make while playing in 3D because your eyes have to take time to adjust to different levels of focus, and in competitive multiplayer you do not have that luxury of time. You have to make snap judgments. In the next exhibit, I'm going to use the same example but with your hipfire crosshairs. These lie on the same plane as your minimap and your ammo counter, plane 0. But while gaming, you don't want to be staring at the opaque crosshairs, you want to be looking off in the distance looking for potential targets, but it's difficult to do because you have plane 0 thrown right at the center of your screen, thrown at your face, and it throws off your focus tremendously. I definitely wish there was an option to make your hipfire crosshairs a lot more transparent. So for multiplayer, because of the difficulty in precise aim, I find myself being a lot more cautious and methodical. I find that I pace myself a lot more. You're at a huge disadvantage in multiplayer if you play in 3D and everyone else is in 2D. You lose frames and precise aim takes a lot more skill. If everyone were to play in 3D, the skill gap would increase because of the additional learning curve. For now, to succeed in multiplayer, you should stick to 2D. The Oculus Rift, being used competitively, is still a long ways away. As mentioned previously, only a few games are optimized to work perfectly for 3D out of the box. For other games, Nvidia has a rating system on how well each game should perform. Here are my personal favorites I've tried in order and their official rating, with Ready being the best. I'd like to point attention to Borderlands 2. Nvidia says it's not recommended, but in actuality it works pretty well. The rating can be pretty inaccurate because Far Cry 3 says fair, but in my experience it's unplayable. Future games that I think could really benefit from 3D are games with a platforming element like Assassin's Creed, because you're better able to judge the distance of your jumps, and horror games, and that needs no explanation. So, in summary, 3D gaming is headed in a positive direction. Oculus Rift development is certainly contributing. Still though, not enough games are designed with 3D playability as an integral part of the experience. For most games coming out, 3D is just an add-on and of low quality. Even after 3D gaming is more mainstream, competitive multiplayer is even farther away from having 3D as a fixture. So if you're listening to this now, you've made it to the end of this commentary. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I really appreciate your time on my channel. It motivates me to keep working hard on quality content. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. My name's David, and I'll see you next video.